Good morning. Two bears coming at you from the garage. Marvel not at this, for the hour is coming that all that are in the grave shall hear his voice and come forth. They that have done good to the resurrection of eternal life, and they that have done evil to the resurrection of damnation. Seeing that the earth and the works that are therein shall be burned up, Jesus said that we are to lay up for ourselves treasures in heaven. For our citizenship is in heaven. He also said, through the Apostle Paul in the book of either 1st or 2nd Corinthians, that if the earthly house of this tabernacle be dissolved, we have a building from God, an house not made with hands, eternal in the heavens. Everything's going to be burned up one day, but until then, I am to be a good steward of this, whatever it is. And there's a saying, be the change that you want to be. Jesus beat that a long time ago when he said, do unto others as you'd have them do unto you. And sometimes referred to as the golden rule, and some in politics seem to think that they have originated that phrase, but they certainly did not. And again, even before that, way back into the 10 Commandments. Thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, soul, mind, and body, your whole being. And Jesus, when asked, what is the greatest commandment, he answered it with that, and the second is like unto it, thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. On the ground there, you see a couple of old saws, or power heads, rather. I'm switching milling attachments around. The lower one there is broke up badly. The gas tank's busted, the handlebars broke, still runs good. Back in about 1998, I replaced the muffler on it, and it cost about $110. And got a real nice muffler on it, but it's been mashed, and everything's broke up on it now. You can see the tank repair I attempted did not work. Got a new tank coming, got a new handlebar coming. But somebody else owned that saw before I had it, and sometimes when folks work on things, they don't exactly use the proper tools. And you should, if able, always use the proper tool for the job. And I know sometimes that's difficult to do, and you get in a bind or a jam, and you pick up the vice grips, and you saw a pair in the previous frame. But what I'm going to show you this morning, the bar studs. Evidently, the logger, whom I know and will not name, that owned this saw, got in a jam and used a set of vice grips on these bar studs. The one that's in the calipers on the stump there, you see, I couldn't even get the proper 19mm wrench over it, and I corrected it, cleaned it up with a flat file. It was so marred that you couldn't get over it with a wrench. Now, about every chainsaw you buy comes with one of these, and you can go into any small engine shop and get one of these called a wrench, screwdriver and wrench. You got 19mm on one side, 13 on this one. This works with Stihl, works with Echo, probably works with Husqvarna. I can't tell you right off, I don't have one laying here. But anyway, do unto others as you'd have them do unto you. Use the proper tools. And someday, if the earth and the works that are not therein are not burned up, and I part from this world or part with these saws, somebody will have these, and they'll know that I own them. And had I left this in its original condition and went on to use vice grips and monkey wrenches to take these off, it wouldn't be good. But I have been over about every square inch of these saws. But something about this, the Stihl 038 Magnum, produced in 1985, the one on the top there you see is still throwing chips. 1985. The bore's original, the cylinder's original. Everything on that saw is original with the exception of the sprocket, the spark plug, and the fuel line. Original carburetor internals, 1985. There has never been any ethanol or ethanol in that gasoline, or I've not used ethanol for the gasoline, for the fuel in that saw. It's always been gasoline. I try to buy that. But a comparable saw to that in that same size would be a Husqvarna 372 XP, XPG, and I think we're now in the X Torque. And a very good saw, a lightweight saw. That saw right there on the ground weighs 14.6 pounds without bar and chain. So it's very heavy. The Stihl MS661, I believe, weighs 16 pounds, but it's a 99cc saw. And this one has been called a very robust saw. And in my geographical area, this saw supposedly made Stihl's name, especially with loggers. Very durable saw. The one on the bottom there had a very large log on it, and crankcase, cylinder, everything, ignition, everything stayed intact. Of course, Husqvarnas do too. But one advantage I would like to talk about are the bar studs. On this particular model, I don't know what Stihl is doing now, but on this particular model, the studs thread into the crankcase. The 372 presses in. The Shindawa, the larger Shindawa saws, press in, and that's a good setup, and it's a strong setup, but usually sometimes you can access this through the oil fill cap on a Husqvarna and put new ones in it. Knocking them out is easy, but putting them back in is hard to do. But that, in my opinion, is one advantage of the Stihl as far as that goes. Another advantage, like I said, this is 1985. I don't know how long that the 038 series ran, but I want you to notice the chain brake flag. It has dual pivots on it. I think Stihl beat Husqvarna on this one. The Husqvarna's, the 1 series, the 2 series did not have this. They had a single pivot, meaning the pivot was right here. The flag had 1 pivot, and I broke a lot of these a long time ago, of course, but broke them nonetheless. But Stihl, way back, had dual pivot points. The 028, 038, 026, 024, dual pivot points, and they've been doing that for a long time. Of course, these saws, as you know, have rubber anti-vibe on them here, and 2 up front, and then 1 right here on the top. That's rubber, and in time those rot and come out. And I've seen the Husqvarna springs break, but both saws are very good. And like I said, I would enjoy a 372 Husqvarna due to the weight. But again, be content with such things as you have, for a man's life consists not in the things that he possesses. While we're on the subject of tools, and saws and whatnot, I would like to do a shout out to Tired Iron Classics. They're out of 4 Oaks, North Carolina. I ordered this inner bar plate from them, and I was not expecting to be Stihl original equipment, but the name says it all. Tired Iron Classics. Old saw, and I'm still able to get Stihl original parts through these guys. The shipping was very quick. Also notice here, made in West Germany. A lot to be said about the Germans and their machines, especially their saws, their tractors. They build a really good tractor. I really enjoy German-built machines and German tools. They build good stuff. But so do a lot of other nationalities. These little vice grips here, American made. I carry a large pair every day on the job. These were broken and cast away. They've got a little small projection well that holds the jaws in there, and I just went ahead and laid the MIG to them, welded them back together, and used them this morning. And like I say, that's a very good product. These are American made, and the ones that I use every day are American made. Good tool. Previous video we talked about Craftsman. These are American made Craftsman pliers. You can still pick these up at flea markets. Good tool. What about China? What about India? China and India. People, there may be naysayers. This is a Halani wrench, spelled J-H-A-L-A-N-I. That's what the set of wrenches is over there on the floor. I've had these for 30 years. Now this one you can see, and they're not expensive. I don't know if you can still buy them or not, but this one I used to work on the Homelight 925 series, the XL12 series. This is a 7/16. Those of you that work on these saws know that that's what the cylinder head bolts are. And anyway, I relieve this, but this will fit down in there. And I've got a specialized wrench to work on those saws. A very good saw. You can replace the connecting rod in that saw, just like you do in a classic automobile engine or a 4-stroke engine. You can replace everything on those saws. No longer made. Really good series of saws there. But Halani's, the casting is not real beautiful, but they are very tough and very functional. And I have several different brands of wrenches. Craftsman's, Halani's, Benchmark. I have a few Snap-ons. But what about China tools? I have a set of these. These are Cummins. I bought these at a tool auction. I want you to notice this. That is not casting marks. That is sledgehammer marks. I use these as impact, breaking down some stuff on an old disc. I was beating on this thing, expected it to break. Notice, made in China. It held together. And the whole set's like this. They're very tough wrenches. And the deal with these is, unlike a ratchet or unlike a gear wrench, they don't wear out. I keep them wiped off, keep them in the dry, spray a little burn oil over them every now and then, and they always work within their limitations. No, it's not a Snap-on. No, it's not an American-made Craftsman. The edges are smooth. I have used wrenches that they weren't like this. Now, combine sweat with this, and you'll slip off and mash fingers and whatnot. But use what you can afford. Sometimes, and I know buy American, keep your jobs in America. Some people can't afford it, and this right here puts tools in the hands of otherwise folks that couldn't afford them, and also allows you to have tools in several places if you need them in several places, or carry your tools on your person all the time. Hope you enjoyed this video. I'm between changing power heads out between meals. I got the mini mill off to the side and hooking up the chainsaw mill. That's what I'm doing right now. Everybody have a good day. Thank you for watching.